Hello, my name is Caroline McCoy, and today we're going to go over the AMLE standards, as I affectionately call it, for dummies. So AMLE stands for the Association of Middle Level Educators, and we're going to be talking about middle school philosophy today. So why implement the AMLE standards? Well, these standards are 5 multifaceted guides for middle level teachers. They help establish consistency in these kids' ever-changing lives. You know how everything changes in middle school, whether you want it to or not. And these standards help middle-level educators create a learning environment for their students that makes sense for their age group. There is some pedagogy in secondary that works in middle school. There's some pedagogy in elementary that works in middle school. But middle school is kind of its own unique monster, I suppose. It deserves its own separate category. So this framework set forth by these 5 standards from AMLE really make it a lot easier to implement something meaningful for these students that is long lasting in terms of their learning. So the first standard has to do with middle level philosophy and school organization. The basics of this standard are that middle level teachers know the major concepts, principles, theories, and research about what makes middle school work, and they can implement them with success. So the first part of this standard, in order to make it work, are that the teachers understand developmentally responsive philosophical foundations about middle level pedagogy, and they use that knowledge in the second part of that component to enhance learning for all students equitably. They demonstrate their ability to apply the knowledge to function successfully, regardless of the configuration of the school. The second standard has to do with young adolescent development. Young adolescent development is not a pleasant thought for most of us as adults. And this is often kind of the aspect of middle school that we think back and we're like, ew. So in regards to this, middle level teachers know about the many aspects of adolescent development in order to create healthy, respectful, safe environments for them. All of there are many different facets of adolescent development, including cognitive, physical, social, emotional, and moral. And all of these things go into being a middle schooler. So being a teacher that understands that is incredibly important to trying to make this work for them. And understanding where they're thinking about how they see their environment helps us create healthy environments for them to grow. They deserve the opportunity to feel safe and kind of move on to that next step of maturity in their life. One of the things I put that line there at the bottom, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Middle schoolers constantly have this vision of everyone around them as though there is something called an imaginary audience. They think everybody's watching me all the time. Every little detail, every move that I make, it could be right, it could be wrong. So knowing this about middle schoolers helps us create a safe place where they can relax, where they can really calm down, I guess, and find the opportunity to learn and be educated. One of the ways to really create this self environment is that third aspect there. If middle level teachers respond to experience from diverse students, then that creates a safety net for those diverse students to continue to express their thoughts and feelings. And it's very significant for other middle level learners to hear the different experiences of their peers. Understanding the context of the whole world and not just for themselves is very important in the development of young adolescents. Our third standard here is middle level curriculum. So my question where this is involved is, why do people in an office somewhere that have never been in a classroom decide what we have to teach? Well, the answer to that question is they do and they don't. And that's not an answer to a why question, but they do decide what we teach. They also don't decide what we teach because of that first implement there, the context. Teachers are experts in their field, and I'll get to that in a second when I talk about subject matter, but teachers, more importantly at the middle level, understand how the kids understand. And that's when the learning happens. Knowing how they think, how they feel, how their environment is affecting them at this moment in time is key to taking the subject matter and putting it in context for them to make it relatable. Moving on to subject matter, teachers are experts in the fields that they teach. They can connect the information that they're giving to real world scenarios. So not only is that relatable, but it kind of brings in that challenging aspect as well, because the idea is that students are brought face to face with realities of their lives, and they have moments to think, instead of, oh, when am I going to use this in real life? Oh, I'm actually using this in real life right now. The standards, then, the third part of this, they're a jumping point for teachers, but a standard is more than just the content. A standard has many different needs that it may be addressed. There are the list of the actual academic standards that you can get from your State Department website or whatever. And then there are other standards that draw from socio-emotional learning, college and career readiness, technology skill development, that are kind of the second layer of learning for them. And that would allow them to explore, to really find other aspects of this that they enjoy. And then finally, the middle level curriculum is an interdisciplinary practice. Teachers in the middle level curriculum help to make connections across subject areas to create a more meaningful synthesis in their minds. They really want to create and develop long-lasting learning and a lifelong desire to keep learning. The fourth standard is middle level instruction, where teachers use a variety of assessment strategies in addition to differentiated teaching and learning. The first aspect of this is the pedagogy. Teachers know their subject content. More importantly, they know their kids, and they use their knowledge of that age group to create effective teaching of their subject. Okay, so strategies. Teachers at the middle level are culturally responsive, equitable, and inclusive in instructional strategies. They create a whole wide variety of assessments and actively try to incorporate more than just one way to measure learning in their lives. This wide variety prepares students for the 21st century world, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And finally, the assessment part, teachers use formal and informal, which is like written and concrete versus just kind of observing, having conversations. So formal and informal assessment, formative, which is, hey, how are you doing as we learn this? And summative, which is, hey, how did you learn this at the end? In multiple styles, so visual, auditory, kinesthetic, to help that learning stick. And then the last standard here, middle level professional roles come in a wide variety of aspects. So first and foremost, educators always reflect on their practices and what will make a better student experience for next time. Educators should advocate for the young people that they serve in both the words that they say and the actions that they complete. And then educators engage with the students' community and their families. It is so important to show your face and show parents and families that you're there and you want to be part of this. Finally, educators strive to model high standards of ethical behavior. Sorry about my cat. So when an educator models high standards of behavior, middle level learners copy what they see. And when we model the correct behavior, that's what they're going to follow as well. So in conclusion, That concludes my AMLE Standards for Dummies, an all-encompassing framework for creating an effective and meaningful education experience for middle level learners. Thank you very much.